Dear students, on behalf of Department of Collegiate and Technical Education and LMS team, myself Shubha MS of MEA Polytechnic, welcome you to session 41 of Power Electronics, which is under Unit 6, which deals with the different applications. In this session, we'll be discussing about static bar compensator and multiple choice questions based on that. So first, what is this VAR? Static var compensator means VAR stands for volt ampere reactive. It is nothing but the reactive volt ampere, but it has been said as volt VAR, volt ampere reactive. So in the lower semesters, we have come across what do we mean by kilowatt, what do you mean by kVA, what is kVAR and all. Just to recollect the concept, we'll just take one example. See here, what is meant by reactive power? We'll just have this a mug which is having a juice with a ice on it, with a soda on it. So this is total. This is kVA, and this part is kilowatt, and this is reactive power. So what does this mean? Kilowatt means what we can use. kVAR means the losses. kVA is the total capacity that is available. So if we go to a juice shop or a hotel or a restaurant, you order for a juice. So this is, let us say this is consisting of 500 ml. Okay, in that the soda part is, let us say, 100 ml, but juice is exactly only for 400 ml. But we will not be paying only for 400 ml, we are paying for the entire thing. So unnecessarily we are losing our money for paying this part of the thing. So see, this is a very small amount. Okay, but in terms of power, if you take, in every time you are losing so much of power, that is lost means it will be a total loss will be too much, and the system will be inefficient. Efficiency of the system gets reduced. So for that purpose, what has to be done is this needs to be compensated. That is what we call it as volt VAR compensation. So what is the need for compensation? It is to improve the voltage regulation, increase the system stability, to provide better utilization of machines connected to the system, reduce the losses associated with the system, and to prevent collapse as well as the voltage sag. That is the need for compensation. So why VAR has to be compensated is for this purpose. So to understand the actual static var compensator, let us just know about how actually the compensation has been done. Before going to the circuit, let us just go through the small simple circuit. For the time being, you just forget this capacitor. Let us say a system is connected to a RL load, that is resistance and inductance. So we have to remember that in an RL load, current lags the voltage. So voltage is the reference. Current is phi. It is lagging the voltage by phi. I1 is the current in this RL load. Okay. So what this I1 has been resolved into two components, active component and reactive component. Active component is IR, reactive component is IX. Okay. So this needs to be compensated. Okay. So what for that purpose what is done is a capacitor is connected in parallel with the RL load, by which what will happen, you know that current leads the voltage in a capacitor. So this is in opposite to the reactive component, and it will nullify the effect of this. So by that it has been compensated. The same principle is used in the static var compensators. If load is having lagging VAR, we have connected a capacitor, okay, in parallel. So that will nullify the inductive VAR. Similarly, if leading VAR is occurring means inductor will be lagging VAR will be correction will be done. which is the concept that is used in the static power compensators, which we'll be discussing little later. And reactive power flow will also affect the system voltage regulation and the stability, which we had already mentioned. So if the and one more important thing we have to understand is if the power factor is fixed, okay, then somehow you can resolve. But if power factor is keep varying, then we need variable reactive power for compensation. This variable reactive power for compensation is obtained using what are known as static power compensators. So as the name itself suggests, static power compensator means it is consisting of static devices, that is it is built up using the semiconductor devices. It doesn't have any moving parts, static it is, and it is made of using semiconductor devices. So static power compensator is used in electrical transmission network for providing, as we have said, reactive power for regulating the voltage, improving the power factor, and improving the efficiency, and also to improve the stability of the system. Okay. So we have different types of static power compensators. They are thyristor switched capacitor, short form is TSC, and another one is thyristor switched inductors. Let us just discuss one by one. So we know that the basic circuit of thyristor switched capacitor will be like this. We know the current through the capacitor leads the voltage under steady state condition. Therefore, voltage across the capacitor is maximum when current is 0. Okay. So here, if you call it as this is T1 and T2, T1 stops conducting. Okay. If VC will voltage across the capacitor becomes maximum. So firing pulses for this T1 and T2 are blocked. Okay, firing pulses will be blocked. Then next again that capacitor will have, if the firing pulses are blocked for these two SCR, the capacitor will have V maximum. Okay, again when we want to, or when T1 is turned on, it starts from the 0. So switching of capacitor has to be done properly. So what is a, we say that thyristor switch capacitor uses integral half cycle controlling by which effective capacitance is varied. So what is the meaning of integral half cycle? Means thyristors are allowed to conduct for 180 degrees. Once the thyristor is fired, it continues to conduct for 180 degrees. So, inductor shown here is used to limit the peak current drawn by the capacitor at turn on. So, if load inductance, so here in the figure it is 3 units, you can say C1, C2 and Cn. That means you can use any number of units of this. That is 2 SCRs, capacitor and a inductor. So if the load inductive VAR is more, to compensate that we require more or more units of this type. Okay, as we increase the number of units of this, the compensations will be better. That is what has been discussed here. So inductor is used to limit the peak current drawn by the capacitor. By blocking the gate pulses to both the thyristors, capacitor is disconnected. The thyristor stops conducting when current goes to 0. Okay, so that is the to switch on gate pulses must be applied to the thyristors. Okay, so that is very important. Which thyristor has to be turned on? Okay, that plays a very important role. So this is about thyristor switch capacitors. Okay. Next we will discuss about thyristor switched inductor. So thyristor switched inductor is as shown in the figure. So you can see here it is having a supply inductor and two SCRs being connected. So thyristor switch inductors are used for limiting the voltage rises on lightly loaded transmission line. Okay, so here what is the thing you have to observe is we have only two SCRs and one inductor. By using this, just by varying the firing angle of this SCRs, okay, you can just consider using only one unit. Okay, we can observe that only one inductor is enough, but just by varying the firing angle, you can control the reactive volt ampere. Okay, so you can observe here the firing. This is for angle below 90, thyristor will turn on only at 90 degrees. Whatever be the angle between 0 to 90, but the thyristor starts conducting only at 90, only after 90. Okay, so this is at 90 degrees. We can see what is the voltage waveform and how is the current, that is current due to the inductor. Next, at 120 degrees, okay, it is clear that, so here what is happening, SCR is fired at an angle 90 means, and the conduction angle is another 90 degrees. So now the current value is this much, current due to the inductor. Now what happens if you increase the firing angle alpha? So obviously what will happen? Conduction angle just reduces, right? Conduction angle reduces means naturally the current will also reduce, will which in turn will reduce the reactive power, that is conduction angle reduces, RMS value of current reduces, which gives an effect of increased inductance by which reactive power is reduced. Next, in this figure, next third figure, if you see, firing angle is further increased. That is, it is increased to 135 degrees. Obviously, the conduction angle is further reduced. So, conduction angle is reduced means effective inductance increases. Further, current will reduce. We know that the current will increase. Inductor increases means obviously the current will reduce. We know that XL is equal to 2 pi FL. So if inductance value increases means reactance increases. Reactance increases means current will decrease, which will further reactive power is further reduced. So we can conclude that just by varying alpha above 90 degrees, reactive power compensation can be easily done. Just to conclude again, I'll just tell. In the figure, you can see we don't have like in TSC, that is thyristor switch capacitor. To improve, you require more number of units. Whereas in thyristor switched inductor, you have only one inductor, two thyristors. Just by varying the alpha at different angles, okay, you can just compensate the VAR. That is volt ampere can reactive volt ampere can be easily compensated. At 90 degrees, the current will be like this. If you increase the firing angle means conduction angle reduces. Conduction angle reduces means effective inductance increases. By that current starts reducing. So as you keep increasing the firing angle, the you can get a better volt ampere reactive volt ampere compensation. That is VAR compensation can be done better. That is the greatest advantage of this thyristor switched inductor. It is having only one inductor. Just we are varying the firing angle and the compensation can be achieved. Now we will just look into the MCQs. So the value of inductor current in a thyristor switched inductor is dash when alpha varies from 0 to 90 degrees. Okay, it is, we have just now discussed. So till 90 it is not going to alter. So whatever is the angle between 0 to 90, it doesn't matter. So the answer is remains the same. Next, static power compensator can be used to dash regulate the voltage and improve transmission efficiency, to protect the system against the fault, to measure power factor. Obviously, the answer is A, that is to regulate the voltage and improve the transmission efficiency. Next is the thyristor switched inductor When alpha is increased above 90 degrees, the value of inductor current, right? It is options is increases, decreases and remains the same. We have seen that when we increase the value of alpha above 90 degrees, current starts decreasing. Next, the thyristor switched inductor, when alpha is increased above 90 degrees, the conduction angle of thyristor will increase, decrease, remains the same. Obviously, when alpha is increased, okay, conduction angle will decrease. So option is B. Next is the thyristor switched capacitor. Thyristor conduction angle will be 90 degree, 180 degree, 270. It is 180 degrees. Integral half-cycle control is used in thyristor switch capacitor, thyristor switched inductor. We have discussed that it is in thyristor switch capacitor. Okay. Next is inductor used in thyristor switch capacitor dash limits the overcurrent at turn on, controls reactive power, controls active power. Answer is it limits the overcurrent at turn on. That is solution is A. Thyristor switched capacitor provides lagging VAR. Option B, leading VAR. Answer is leading VAR. Next, current distortion is high in thyristor switched inductor and other option is thyristor switched capacitor. Answer is thyristor switched inductor. The last one, delay angle control is used in thyristor switched inductor, thyristor switched capacitor. Answer is thyristor switched inductor. Okay. I think you have understood the concept about static or compensators. Thank you.